All right.
Yeah, done.
There we go.
We'll pass the floor to Sophia. And we can start.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It's so good to see you all. And thank you, Noemi, for coming here to share about your story with us. We appreciate it. We're
Thanks for
excited
the
to hear about
invite.
it. Absolutely. All right. So we have a plan of listening to Noemi's sharing speech for us about InsightSphere and stories from her company's history. And then we'll have our community news and just catching up with each other already in Ukrainian. So, Naomi, you can take it away from here.
Okay, thanks so much, Sophia. I'm going to share my screen, if that's okay.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Right. Everybody sees my screen, right? With the virtual reality device and so on. Okay, very good. Yes, so my name's Noemi. I'm originally from Barcelona, from Spain. I've been in Switzerland for some time now, and this is where the InsightSphere is based. I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade now. And when I first started my last venture, something very strange happened. I came from a background working for in very busy environments, right? And I was always doing lots of campaigning to do, reporting, forecasting, and so on. And then suddenly I started my last venture and something very strange happened. My desk was just empty. It was just pure silence. And so I realized I need a salesperson. And I started to interview all of these super friendly sales guys. And they were very good in their sales expertise, but none of them could speak proficiently about online marketing, which is what our clients were experts in. And so I knew that I could not send them to sell to online marketing experts because they would just not be taken seriously. And it's precisely from this challenge that InsightSphere was born. We offer company trainings with AI avatars so that you can get your sales teams up to speed on the product knowledge and also other products like, for example, compliance and so on. I then launched InsightSphere, and I came across another challenge, which is my fear of presenting. At first, I thought, okay, I create my startup, I create my product, and then I can get one of these sales guys to go and sell the product for me. But then I realized that's wrong, right? That's not how startup sales works. First, I have to work on founder-led sales, right? Which meant I was the salesperson, which meant me as a complete introvert being very, very scared of presenting, had to go out there and present all the time. And so what I did is I added a module which enabled me and future users to train on soft communication skills. And to do this, what we did is we got a TEDx speaker coach, and he built in all the best practices, all of the TEDx knowledge into our AI tool. And then we were able to then basically do rehearsals on presentation skills and get feedback. So there's now 2 modules to the product, right? There's the company training based on very much customized solutions. And then there's an option to also give feedback on soft communication skills. If we look at our product development journey, we started with virtual reality, right? We were a training company with virtual reality. And while there is a lot of research showing the advantages of training with virtual reality, it shows that the quality, that the results are just as good as training with a teacher face-to-face, if not better. In fact, if you talk to professors and you approach them with the idea of doing some research on virtual reality, they will say no, because there's so much research already being done in this space, right? And what we are seeing, though, is that while research clearly sees the advantage of using virtual reality for company trainings and for education in general, The market is not there yet. The market is saying, we've been talking to the market, we've been offering the technology, but most of the companies, what they are saying is, well, I don't have virtual reality devices. They are not part, virtual reality devices are not part of our inventory in the IT. If we buy devices, how do we administer them? How do we make sure that that the employees get the glasses that they need? How do we make sure that they return them? How do we clean them, right? And this is the challenge that we had, that virtual reality is just not mainstream enough. There's not enough consumers on one hand, and there's not enough companies with devices either. So what we did is we started to develop our product more and more for a web-based format. This is what the market was asking for. The market was saying, we want AI avatars that we can use on our web format, right? And so we moved away from virtual reality. I am convinced that virtual reality for education has enormous potential. We just need to wait for the market to develop, to mature, and then I want to go back and continue and offer again virtual reality, right, with education, with our solution. In the meantime, we are working with AI avatars web-based, like I just mentioned, and we are basically customizing the product for every client based on their training material. And for example, the example of the TEDx is a very good example where you just input all of the information of TED into our system, and then you get feedback, soft communication skills feedback from following the methodology of TED. So I'm gonna change the slide. Yeah, okay. So we are basically in the space of learning with AI. What does this mean? It's sometimes a little bit confusing, right? We are not teaching people how to use AI. We are using AI technology to provide training, right? This is what I mean by learning with AI. The biggest advantage that I see of learning with AI is that it democratizes access to a private teacher. So things that were before reserved to the realm of those that could pay for a private teacher. For example, often you get executive teams, they get private coaches, right? This space is now opening up to all the employees, to all of the society, right? Thanks to AI. If we look at the advantages of learning with AI, right? Learning with AI means that it's personalized. So first of all, you can personalize your training content, create a course very quickly. And most importantly of all is you get personalized feedback. If we look at company training historically, and even today, most company trainings are pretty much multiple choice forms, right? And this means that employees just click their way through the right answer, they cheat, they exchange, is it like question 1, the right answer is A, question 2, the right answer is C, and so on. But this is not learning, this is just clicking through, right? And so with AI, we provide personalized feedback. So based on what the user said, we give them feedback on how to improve. We create a much more engaging experience. We can offer adaptive learning, which means that we provide the right practice scenarios based on the level of the learner, right? And this learning is available 24/7 from anywhere in the world. It's scalable and it's much lower cost. We also, what we are seeing, what people are telling us that what they like about this technology evolution is that the user is very much in control, which means that if you think of the scenario, right? If you think of the scenario of having a teacher in front of you, you have the challenge that the teacher is a human and you are scared that the teacher is going to judge you, right? And this, with the technology, is non-judgmental. People dare to ask questions that they would never dare to ask a human teacher. So this is really a game changer. If we apply this being in control to the virtual reality environment, it's even bigger, it's even more powerful, this being on control advantage. Because with the virtual reality, you can create a scenario. For example, we have a presentation skills app with virtual reality, right? And you have an audience in front of you. This is super immersive, super realistic, super scary. But the user is always in control. And when it gets too much, it can close they can close their eyes, or they can just take off the glasses and the threat disappears, right? So this is something that users like very much. Another element of learning with AI that I see as a game changer is that learning, voice learning or audio learning comes back. The last few years have been very much dominated by learning with text, right? And research shows that learning with text and images is by far not as powerful, not as effective as learning with images and voice. If we go back to our origins as humans, we learned with the spoken word, we learned in the audio format. And now the last few centuries have been very much dominated by text, but now we go back to audio. And I see the future is going to be voice-based commands, voice-based learning, and so on, right? And so this is how I see that learning with AI brings so many benefits, right? Also, if we thinking back of the multiple choice, right? The multiple choice that are currently dominating the training space. If we look at that, we see that you just have to find the right choice. Whereas with AI, we can ask open questions and the learner can reply with open replies, can reply with their own words. And replying with your own words means that you have a higher retention of the learned material, right? And this is very powerful also with AI. So I'm going to do a short demo of the product on the video. If you could show it, Sophia, are you able to share the sound?
Tatiana should be able to try and do that.
Yeah, 1 moment.
I'm going to stop sharing so you can share.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you see my screen now, and let's try about the sound. Do you hear the sound? No? Okay.
No.
Sorry, 1 moment. I'm sure.
While Tatiana is sharing, I have a question to you. So what is your recommendation according to the not enough maturity of the clients using the VR? So your recommendation is to think about the both ways, or turn from the VR to the flat screen and wait. So what is...
I'm turning to the flat screen, right? I'm finding that research is here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And business is here. And we cannot bridge that gap, right? The gap is so big, right? Research, they are just in a different level, right? So I'm just like basically waiting for this to come a little bit closer before I actually go back to virtual reality. Another alternative would be to say, okay, we only work with early adopters, and we look for use cases where the training with VR makes a huge difference, right? Mm-hmm. What I'm seeing personally is that training with VR brings a huge advantage to, for example, to people that need to learn how to do things, right? For example, it's a great case for teaching doctors, right, how to operate, right? Like training doctors in an operation room, training people on security measures, right? Like if railway workers, right? How do you teach them on all the risks and how to act and what to do? This is a great cases where you see, if you what I've seen so far is, if I look at where is virtual reality training really happening, it's very much at this level where it really makes a big difference, because otherwise you need to create this scenario. And of course, to have a patient, you cannot operate the same patient every day, right?
Mhm.
So it's difficult to get enough patients that you can train your doctors. To create this scenario, this risk scenario of the rail tracks and everything, companies are creating these scenarios, but this is very costly. And they mostly have these scenarios only in one place. And then you have to fly in all the employees to that space. So I'm saying that virtual reality training is in that space. That space for me is a little bit, it's very much based on, you have to create a scenario every time, right? So whereas I'm working more with a product, it's a product that I customize, but this kind of customization is it's kind of more like an agency model, I would say, this customization. And that's why we are not working on that. So there are some opportunities for virtual reality, but the mainstream market is just not there.
But do you have like clients who are using the virtual reality, and how much time did it take you to understand that will not work with the VR in your use case?
So I sold some virtual reality licenses in the past. But it took me, how long did it take me? I mean, it's a bit this challenge, right? Like, we founders, we think, okay, this is the problem, how do we solve it? And we see the problem and we find the best way to solve, which is again here, right? But if you look at the people that are not developing the products, the people that will consume them, they are happy with the middle way, right? Even now, for example, with the avatars, I'm seeing that the people are scared of introducing avatars into the company, right? Will the employees laugh at them, right? It's a very new thing, right? So that's something we have to bear in mind. The founder thinks, I'm going to solve the problem like with a Rolls Royce, and then the client is happy with like a smart car, basically, right? Yes, so we sold some virtual reality licenses, but I would say approximately maybe it took us 1 year to kind of say, okay, no, that's it, right? Let's not do virtual reality. We started progressively to add more and more web, and at some point we said we don't improve the virtual reality part. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. You should hear now.
Hello, my name is Noemi.
You hear, yeah?
I'm CEO and founder of InsightSphere, and today I'm going to show you how you can use our AI avatars to train your employees on cybersecurity. I'm going to go ahead and do a simulation where the avatar is a client wondering if she has been the victim of a phishing attack. Okay, so I'm going to get started.
Hello, I'm your trainer. I've prepared an exercise for you where you will interact with our avatar and practice. You'll simulate a real-life client consultation. Your mission? To effectively show your command of cybersecurity risks and measures clients need to take. In this simulation with our avatar, you will need to practice 2 essential skills. First, confidently address the avatar's inquiries. And secondly, ask insightful questions to assess if the client has been a victim of a cybersecurity breach. Remember, each interaction is a learning opportunity. Before starting, ensure camera and microphone are set up. If preferred, deactivate your camera, but remember, it will display your surroundings once the session begins. Ready? Click the microphone button to embark on this interactive journey.
Hello. I have some questions regarding IT security. Could you help me with that?
Yes, sure. What questions do you have?
Right. Thanks. I just got an email saying my password is expiring and I should click a link. How can I tell if it's a phishing attempt?
You need to watch out if the domain is our company domain or if it's another domain or spelled slightly differently. You also need to watch out for grammatical mistakes in the message.
Well, okay. What should I do if I accidentally clicked on a suspicious link?
You need to deactivate your internet connection And you need to make sure that you don't share any personal data.
Right, okay. Interesting. What's the most common tactic used in phishing emails to trick people?
It's giving a sense of urgency that they need to act straight away, otherwise their account will be closed, for example.
Okay then. Yeah.
So I have a question. Did you deactivate your internet connection?
You know, I have not done anything yet.
Oh, okay. Then actually we may have a security breach here. Have you shared any personal data?
Okay then. No, I have not shared any personal data.
Okay, that's good. But still, because you didn't deactivate your internet connection yet, I need you to report this as a phishing case to us, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and send you a form after this conversation, and then please report that straight away.
All right. Right. Well, I think we've covered everything on my end.
Okay, that's all from my end as well. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. And now the feedback is displayed. And here I can see the key strengths, so the things that I did well, the areas of improvement, so the things that I should be improving, and then also some detailed areas of improvement, right? Like specific things that I should have done much better. For those that need soft communication skills feedback, we can also add the module where we give information on speaking pace, filler words, and confidence level. That's all for now. Thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Sophia. I'm gonna go ahead and continue and share my screen now, continue with the presentation. Okay, so this is, with this, you have an idea of what the product does, right? So it's the AI avatars for company training. It's personalized for every customer, for every training material, right? If we look at the use cases of learning with AI avatars, we have, on one hand, we have the pure training cases like practice and simulation, like the case that you saw now. We also have the possibility to do certification. For example, we can do partner certifications. And there's a second case, which is not so much directly the space of training, it's more the space of marketing, and it's the awareness campaign. So the same as you can create a simulation and you can evaluate and get your employees to practice, you can also get your potential clients to interact with your avatar and engage them and make them see how exciting, how interesting, and again, how innovative as well your product is, right? So, for example, here in the space of awareness campaigns, we're working with a medical technology company, Respira Global, and they have basically a device that emulates high altitude conditions for breathing, and this enables you to improve your performance, to make a much faster recovery, right? So what we're working on here is an avatar that asks questions around to potential leads, right? So it's not about training, but about people that could be clients of the product, and the avatar is asking, hey, how do you recover from a very heavy week currently? Have you considered trying technology to recover in a much more speedy way? And we basically give them hints and ideas to make the product attractive, right? Another case is a wealth management company, Royce Private, and what they do there is we assess the financial literacy level of their leads. This is a very important question always with wealth managers. Is this client somebody that has a lot of experience with financial products? They have a very diversified portfolio or not? And then we ask them questions, right? For example, in how many financial products do you invest? Do you have a lot of real estate? Do you know what a hedge fund is? Hedge fund will be a much more complex product that only the most experts would buy, right? So this is the case of the awareness campaigns. In the case of practice and simulation, we work with a training company, the Female Think Tank, and they train investors. And then after every training, they use the simulation solution where the avatar asks questions to make sure that the people understood the training material. So this is the kind of the 3 use cases of the AI avatars that we have seen so far. There's the avatar modality. We see there are 2 possibilities. One possibility, which is from a technology less complex, but it's also very powerful for some training environments. It's to just have a one-way communication, which means that the avatar asks questions and the employee or the learner replies, and that's it. The avatar asks and employee replies, one-way communication. The other option is the 2-way communication, the dialogue. And the dialogue is the example I just showed you, where the client is asking me, have I been the victim of a phishing attack? And so the avatar is asking questions, and then I also had to ask questions to clarify, okay, has she been the victim or not yet, right? So this is 2-way communication, like a real dialogue. And also in terms of channels, right? In terms of channels, we're very much focused in this screen web traditional format that we've all known for so many years by now. The mobile channel is also important. And then in the future, we will go back to virtual reality. What I see as a middle way is the augmented reality possibility. This is a possibility, for me, it's interesting because we have in virtual reality, we have the pass-through, and the devices are having better and better pass-through functionalities over time. But I'm still seeing that when you put on the virtual reality headset, you're very far away from your reality. Also, with virtual reality, you need to have a big space, which not all companies have meeting rooms that are big enough, with no furniture on everywhere, with enough meeting rooms for all the employees, right? And also the fact that if you put on the glasses, it's a bit like losing control, right? Because you don't see the reality around you anymore. And I see for these reasons, I see augmented reality is a nice middle way. It's like a compromise, right? So I see that we could go, the next step after web and mobile could be augmented reality. And then we would move on to virtual reality. This is how I see the product developing with the market and with the openness of the market to innovation and to new technology. And who is making this possible? So this is our team at InsightSphere. We have on one hand myself as the CEO, like I explained before. Then we have the technical team with Regis. He used to work at Google as a software developer. And then we have a lead software developer, Axel. He has a master from the FFL. This is a technical university in Lausanne in Switzerland. It's a world-renowned technical university, and they are supported by Lucci. On the sales side, we have Slatina doing sales support, and then we also have a very strong advisory team with, for example, Tanya. She's a HR expert, has worked at top executive level for companies like eBay, Get Your Guide, and Amazon. And Christopher Lubas is our TEDx speaker coach that has inputted all of the TEDx knowledge into our tool, like I explained earlier. Clients that are already working with us is, for example, on the medical space, we have the University Psychiatry Hospital of Basel, we have Respira Global, we also have on the finance side, we have a private bank that unfortunately we cannot mention the name, and we also work with training companies like, for example, the Female Think Tank and For the Human Being. As I know, many of you are in this VR, AR, XR, avatar, AI technology world, right? I have given you here like an overview of what we do, the space where we are. And so if you see opportunities for collaboration, I would very much look forward to talking to you. I'm including here a QR code so you can book a call directly, or alternatively, you can reach out to me directly by email and let's talk if you see some opportunities for collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Noemi.
Thank you. I have a few more questions.
Yes.
Yeah. So as far as I understood, you can work as a white label, or you can you have like the open API that the other company could use your solution as a small, like as a service when we're developing our own solution.
Yes, we can do that. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yaroslav, you have a question?
Yes, I have one. Thank you
There
for
is
this
something with
presentation
the sound.
I hear you.
solutions.
Uh-uh.
1, 2, 1,
So
2.
you have a good voice.
Mhm. It's like you have the voice transformation system, make your voice as a Halloween.
Avatar, maybe like a very non-human avatar.
Like avatar.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Is it
yes,
better?
yes.
Okay. So yeah, first of all, Naomi, thank you very much for these presentations. Really amazing. My question is about the differences between using 2D and VR or AR avatars and the results of the like some trainings or something like that. Did you compare the results of trainings that people got through the 2D interface and 3D interface? And if yes, which one is better?
So yeah, so I don't have any data because we were at the beginning we were offering virtual reality, and then we moved to web, right? So we didn't have clients that were doing both, or it was like we said, okay, now we do VR, and then at some point we said we only focus on web. So we cannot compare the data, unfortunately, from that perspective. I personally believe that VR is much more powerful for education, but of course the threshold to use it, right? Also simply, even if people are open to having glasses, right? They still have to put on the glasses, right? Find the right space and so on. Whereas with the web, it's much more fast. So I think that's a little bit of a challenge there, right? Maybe one more thing about the avatars. One struggle that we had with virtual reality is how to make the avatars really human looking without having rendering issues. That was a challenge, right? That's something that we were really confronted with. And then at some point we moved on to web, so we didn't address this issue. But that's something that when we go back to virtual reality, we will have to look at.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I have one more question about, for example, do you have, if you do not develop your product in virtual reality, do you have like any requests from the client for the virtual reality maybe in the future? So I think we have in the community some companies that do also the training in the VR, and if can be the collaboration, not to stop to develop your product, but using time to time the products of our members, for example.
Yes, we could certainly do that. It's just that really, because we work with company trainings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which means that the companies have the challenge that, they are not asking for it at the moment. And we don't proactively communicate it, but it's something that we could certainly do if we see the demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, for example, like I was saying before, if at some point we have like an early adopter company, we work with them, we start with the lower entry points, like the avatars that are web-based, and then they want to do more and more because they are innovative, then I could imagine working with you with solutions that already exist, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Interesting. And maybe some other colleagues have questions because I I can ask forever. Nope. So then I will ask my last question. So just can you share your experience of like selling? You said like from the beginning that you're the salesperson of your company. What is the difference to selling to, for example, in Switzerland, and why you choose Switzerland actually, and to other countries? Like what is the difference, and what is your recommendation for better sales for our members?
So because we are based in Switzerland, I have a much stronger network here, right? And I have much more experience of the market here. So it's kind of much easier for me to sell to Switzerland, right? So it's kind of, yeah.
So it was your choice to choose the Switzerland just because?
No, I live here. I'm Swiss as well now, originally Spanish, and now I'm also Swiss. And so because I'm based here, it's a kind of the natural first market for me. So we operate internationally, but we do a lot in Switzerland because naturally with our network, it's right. The Swiss market, I must say, the Swiss market is a complicated market. So there is an advantage to the Swiss market, and it's that we have, a very high, economically, it's a very strong country, right? Also very strong currency. Whenever there are challenges with the euro or with the dollar, the Swiss franc remains very strong, which can be a challenge for us when we are selling abroad. But in general, it's a solid economy. That's the good thing. The challenge with Switzerland, though, is that we have three official languages, and we have as well a lot of English speakers, which means that some clients, especially the bigger ones, they have to offer the services in the three official languages. And of course, you have to develop the solution in three official languages, right? And this is for a very small market. This is a challenge. We also have another challenge is Swiss German, because the Swiss German, they sometimes like it if the technology can understand Swiss German. But this means for us developing a solution only for the Swiss market. And this is a challenge, right? When we move abroad, then we have a much more openness, right, to have the system, the solutions in English. Of course, not all markets, right? Germany also expects to have solutions in German, right? And France, of course. But if you go to the UK, Holland, and so on, they are more open to operating in English. So this is, of course, an advantage.
If there is like any specifics connecting with the sales, like not only the language, but some like adoption barrier, innovation barrier, maybe some countries is more innovative and some not.
Yes. I mean, Switzerland is a top country in terms of innovation, in terms of university innovation, right? But yeah, often, I would say the Swiss are not they are rather risk averse, right? So this technology that, whereas Switzerland is an innovation nation, which like even has like really top rankings worldwide, the companies, the business are a little bit more slow at taking risk, at trying new things. So this is not really the best. Again, having said that, it's always about finding the early adopters. There will be companies where you will have somebody that says, yes, we're going to do this, right? And they will push this through, and they will make it happen. And of course, the smaller companies, right? So mid-size that have the resources for the technology, but are more open to innovation, then they are a more interesting target for us.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. And sure, we will talk to you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Noemi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good day, and we will change the language to Ukrainian.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.